All right, now we're doing 7Q, the 12 Days of Christmas. This is by Dingle Mouse, and 83% of people like it. Oh no! The song sheets have been dropped in the snow, and the lines of each verse have become all jumbled up. So our task is to write a comparator function which can sort the lines back into their correct order. Otherwise, Christmas will be canceled. And here's what the verses should look like. So we're going to have on the 12th day of Christmas as the first one. And then at the bottom, we're going to have a partridge and a pear tree. And then right here, we're going to have 12 through 2 sorted in descending order right there. All right. So basically for this one, the only little hint we have right here is sort. And then we also have this hint that's not really a hint, but it is. In the fact that this test section looks much different than it usually does. Usually it just tests the actual answers or something like this, and then the guts of it are somewhere else. But this one has guts of it that we can see. So basically right here we've got this shuffle function, which will shuffle whatever list is put into it. And here's the list down here, right here. Here's the lines, and then here's the list. And it's just a big thing. So basically what it's going to do right down here is we're going to have this var shuffled equals shuffled lines. So it's going to shuffle all these lines right here. And then we're going to have this var actual, which is shuffle.sort, that's the important part right there. And we're going to put the comparator in there. And then expected is going to equal these lines right here. And then we're going to have this this assert.deep equal, and then actual expected Christmas is canceled. So when it's this deep equal thing, the actual and expected have to equal each other, or this will be thrown. Okay. But the main thing here is this sort thing. And if you don't know about sort, if you need a refresher, the sort method sorts a method of an array in place and returns the reference to the same array now sorted. Usually it does it by UTF-16 code units, but that's not what we're going to be doing. What we're going to have to do is come even deeper in here and say, if compare function is applied, all non-undefined array elements are sorted according to the return value of the compare function. All right. So what that means is that if the number is greater than 0, so 1 or anything above that, we're going to switch them up, and we're going to put the A thing where the B thing is, and the B thing back here. The B thing in front of it. And then right here, we're going to have 0. If it's less than 0, we're going to just leave it how it is and have the A be before the B. All right? So hopefully you understand what that means. So basically what we have to do, we have to make sure that this O always goes to the front. So if A at 0 is this O right here, or if B at 0 is this A right here, we have to make sure it returns a -1 so that they don't switch. So we're going to deal with that up here. First, let's put this into concise syntax. We're going to say comparator function this, and then we're going to have an arrow right here, just to make it a little bit better looking in my opinion. And then we're going to use the ternary operator for this, because we're going to use if-else statements, but we're going to use this ternary operator instead, which is the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 operands: a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. And this operator is frequently used as an alternative to if-else statements. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say if A at 0 equals this O right here, so capital O, or if B at 0 equals this lowercase a right here, all right, we're going to return -1, because like right here, if it's -1, they won't switch, right? Anything less than 0 won't switch, all right? So now that we've got that one, we're going to say else. We're going to say if A at 0 equals lowercase a, or, whoops, Or if b at 0 equals capital O, we're going to return 1 so that they switch. Push this over just a little more uniform. It's going to switch because anything greater than 0 is going to sort the A after the B, all right? So then it's going to switch, and then if not, we're going to deal with these numbers right here. And to change these strings into numbers, we're going to use this parseInt methods, this Number.parseInt method, which parses a string argument and returns an integer of the specific radix or base. So basically, it'll just go through the whole thing and look to see if there's a number in it, and then it's going to it's going to return that integer. And down here, we have to come down here and say, if the radix is undefined or 0, it's going to be assumed base 10, all right, instead of like base 2 to 36 or whatever. So it's going to be assumed base 10, so we don't even have to mess with the base part of that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, if A at 0, excuse me, no, we don't need to do the, if A, so if A dot parse, no, not that either, number, let me go back over here. So yeah, capital N, so number dot parse int A, so we're just going to throw this whole thing in there. If that is greater than, less than number dot parse int B, we're going to return. So if this is greater than this, and just like down here, what is it? If A is less than B, we're going to return a -1. So we're going to return a 1. So if this is if this is less than this, we're going to return a -1. -1, like that, right? Because they're not going to switch. No. If this is greater, it's got to switch. If this is greater than this, leave it alone. All right, let's try that. We're going to make a -1, and then we're going to have this or, and then we'll just say 1. And if it doesn't work, we'll just switch it around. Test it out. Oh, it does work. Cool. So if A is greater than B when it's parsed, we're going to switch it around, right? So let me go through this one more time. So if A at 0 is capital O, right? Or B at 0 is capital A, is lowercase a, we're not going to switch it at all because they're where they belong, right? And if they aren't like that, if A is at A at 0, or it's capital O is at B at 0, we are going to switch them, right? And then basically if parseInt A is bigger than parseInt B, we're going to not switch them because the bigger one needs to be here. And then we will switch them if this is less than this. All right, hopefully that makes sense to you because it totally did work. All right, test it out one more time. Looks good. Attempt it. Looks good. And submit it. All right. And we see here they did they made an array of this stuff and they split it to see if something is working. But basically the same thing applies here. If this position, like if the index here is greater or whatever, if this is greater than this, if this is less than this, they say the same. If this is greater than this, they switch, all right? That's basically how that worked. Same thing here. That's how they did that with the index of here. This is basically what we did right here, except for this is done in the long way. And then here's all this stuff, and we can just check out the rest of the stuff if we want to. Let's go to mine. Just me on this one. Best practice in my opinion. Very much like it, and we'll see you next time.